Hi everyone and welcome to another pick a card reading. Today we have a very simple subject. This pick a card just attempts to take a look at your present and close future. It might reveal what energies are at play right now in your life and where all of this is leading you. Also, this is a timeless reading, so there is no specific time frame attached to this. And of course, this is a general tarot reading, so it might not resonate for everyone. Just take in what resonates and simply discard the rest. The instructions are very simple as always. Just take a look at the 3 piles of cards for a couple of seconds or as long as you need, and then choose the one which sparks up your intuitive senses the most. The timestamps with the interpretations for the 3 piles can be found in the description of the video and also in the comment section. With this being said, thank you so much for listening and being here. If you'd like to support my work, you can find the link to my PayPal in the description below. Now let's take a look at the interpretations of the 3 piles. Hello everyone who has chosen the first pile. Your cards are the 9 of Swords reversed, the 5 of Pentacles, the World, and the Devil. Now I must say this is a really heavy combination because that 9 of Swords reversed represents that in the recent past, perhaps even going back to the last 9 months and even in the present, you had a lot of stuff to deal with. And even though many of these problems might have been rooted in basically many different areas of your life. For example, it can be money problems. It can be simply not knowing what to do next, with your career or your job or profession. Or maybe it was basically the global situation. Not that you were focusing on it, but maybe your situation depends on global stability. So it was like up and down, hope and then disillusion, then other hope, then other disillusion. It can also be something to do with your relationships. May it be your friends. Maybe you had a situation where a lot of your friends and circle of friends have been experiencing problems like depression, mental problems, and you trying your hardest to basically help them, support them, encourage them, give them hope. It can also be like a family member. It can also be your partner where maybe you had problems in the relationship. But at the same time, it might not be emotional problems. It might simply be like really practical problems. Maybe they had blockages. Maybe both of you had a really hard period to cope. If you have children or anything which may involve responsibility and duty to another person or housing issues. So this 9 of Swords can result from so very many different things just basically gathering. And at the same time, it's not just the problems that you have faced. It was also a mentally vulnerable period for you personally. So these two added together, A plus B, equaled a very almost vengeful C. Because your thoughts were all over the place. Maybe they still are, but since it's reversed, it means that you're trying your best to cope. This is not where you are not disciplined. This is not where you're allowing yourself to become victim, to your thoughts, to your fears, overthinking, your mind working in 10 different thought processes, frequencies, trying to solve 10 different problems at the same time. But this energy and this state might have really affected, your mental well-being and your physical well-being as well. 9 of Swords can also represent like sleepless nights, problems with sleep and sleep patterns, nightmares, or very disturbing dreams, or basically, even if you're sleeping, maybe your mind is not really resting. So even though you perceive it as just asleep, when you wake up, you kind of feel even more tired than when you went to bed. So this is basically a lot of stress gathered up. This is where your mind is really, really vulnerable and quite fragile. And at the same time, the very root and the core of this Nine of Swords is actually your good intent, your inner strength trying to cope with everything, solve everything, at least have a plan B or a potential solution to anything that might come up in the future. And as I say, not just for yourself, but also for your loved ones, people in your life who you care for deeply. You know, this kind of energy is almost like when a mother is more worried for a hardship that her child is facing than the child himself. And the other side of this coin, well, you can imagine that even though you were not immersed in the global drama and the conflicts and the paranoia and the fears, the energy itself, not just empathically, but basically the frequency, well, it really weighed heavily on your mental sphere. And this is where you had absolutely no saying in this. You tried your very best to protect yourself, but since, you know, you're part of the human collective, there is only so much you can do. And of course, for some of you, this Nine of Swords might represent like depression in its true sense. For others, it might be extreme confusion where you just don't know what to do. You may feel that no matter what options you choose, which exist in your life right now, none of them are leading you really anywhere. And for others still, it might not even be rational whatsoever. It might just be a feeling that you're not safe, your future is not secure. It might be like a very strong sensation of uncertainty where you just feel like in a mental prison and there is no way out. So of course, you know, this Nine of Swords not only affected you, but it also reflected on every area of your life. So you might have found maybe your work or whatever you were trying to do in your everyday life, your everyday routines, even relationships, even the most simplest things, like all those things which should bring you pleasure. For example, listening to music or meditation or any kind of detachment, exercise, going out with friends. You just couldn't enjoy any of this because you felt like something inside of you kind of rejected the joy, rejected the detachment, rejected the happiness or the high vibrations. And at the same time, what follows is the Five of Coins. And this is not a very positive card regardless of how we look at it. It usually means one of two extremes, and sometimes both of them are, you know, in one package at the same time. So some of you might have either suffered from ill health, for example, extreme fatigue, or a feeling that you have no energy left in your body. For others, it might be a much more hormonal imbalance where just everything went wrong, physically speaking. And for others still, you might have certain conditions which usually are kind of manageable, but it just flared up really, really badly. And the other interpretation is naturally money problems, scarcity, blockages, you know, where your expenses are way higher than what you earn, or you're slowly but surely kind of consuming your savings and that material security which should provide you a grounding for the future. But for others still, it might not really be lack of money and scarcity, not even ill health in its proper sense. It just might be a kind of, let's say, depression or an inner disharmony where you might have like no real problems, not even money-wise, not even like health-wise, but you just cannot enjoy anything. It is almost like you just can't tap into the small and big pleasures of life, even though they are available, even though like you have the material and the physical possibility for like go out or I don't know, meet people, listen to music, do pleasurable activities, have your favorite food, buy yourself something to, make you happy, etc. Something inside of you is simply not happy. It is like an aura, a sensation where you're left out in the cold. Maybe from a spiritual perspective, you don't feel the love and care of the universe, the divine, very close to you. Maybe it is that you don't feel the love and care for others in your life close to you, even if it might be there, but something inside of you just tells you, well, this honestly doesn't make me happy, so why should I really pretend with myself as an honesty to the self? But if the case is that you really have scarcity and like a big material blockage in your life, well then it doesn't have to be an inner force. Then it is just outer reality simply blocking you. Some of you might be feeling that the lives that you have right now, the reality that you're navigating in, everyday life, everything that surrounds you, well, it is not who you truly are. You almost feel like being trapped in a lie, being trapped in an illusion, a nightmare basically, because what you have inside is not anything like what you're living. So that creates a massive dichotomy, and it is not something that you can blame yourself for. It is really not the case, to accept it and to work with it and to live with it, because you really feel that whatever you're living, your outer reality is not just a not precise reflection of what you are inside or what you have inside, but it's almost like a lie. It is almost like a constant salt in the wounds. So regardless of what this is, well, it's really making you unhappy. It's really making you, be on the edge. You might not see the way out of this, because mostly this is a state. This is something which can't really be fixed, neither spiritually or psychologically or in any way, because you're not really the author of this. As I said earlier, either you're reacting to something, for example, whatever is going on in the world, and more specifically, how that reflects in your very close environment, like your city, your neighborhood, social circle, even family. Or of course the other side of this, maybe your soul is kind of rejecting outer reality, but of course the construct which you're not the author to, you cannot choose the, let's say, the planet that you live on, neither the timeline that you are incarnated into. So basically this might just be a gesture of strong revolt coming from your soul that whatever is going on, it is wrong. It is not your truth. And it might be just, a very strong warning sign from your inner voice, from the deep core of your being that, okay, this is going on, but don't even for a moment, for a second, not even with a fraction of thought, believe that this is your story or it has anything to do with your life, because you're just a witness, a bystander. This has nothing to do with you and your life and your, let's say, destiny personally. This is basically just like a crossroad. You're in the same ship, so basically when there is turbulence, you feel it as well. And even if you're not the kind of person who is scared or who would, go into paranoia, well, you still have instincts, and in that moment when there's like a turbulence, you still feel a little palpitation, so to speak. So from a spiritual perspective, this might be what's going on. This might be why all the blockage is there, why the energy is so very condensed and rather negative, and this might also be why your mind is simply on overdrive because it wants to solve the situation, at least mentally, badly, because I do perceive that you are a very mental, intellectual, rational person, so you kind of need this for your well-being. But fortunately, look at the rest of the cards, because this state, this situation is going to end, and it really, really won't take much more. And believe it or not, this inner state of you, or something inside of you rejecting the reality that you're currently experiencing, is a key factor to it. Because look at that world card. When you reject it, well, something else truly has to take its place. It's almost like replanting a tree. It's not a very easy process because the roots of the tree go very deep inside the earth. So you have to carefully remove it. Because if you just pull it out, it damages the tree. Maybe the tree will not survive. So this is where your being, your soul, let's say your spirit, is somehow removing your roots from a certain frequency, from a certain reality. And this is the rejection. This is why physically you're not feeling so well. This is why you feel like without energy, powerless. And this is also why your mind is so very hyperactive and sometimes confused, because you're moving out of something, and of course you're replanting yourself into whatever suits you. And this is exactly the symbolism of the world card, the moment when you're already replanted and your roots are getting stronger, but of course they offer stability. They're not hanging outside the ground anymore. They are already immersed into that fresh soil, the fresh ground, that new location where the tree was replanted. And immediately it will start to absorb nutrients, so it will fill you with energy, with power. It will feel like a massive, the world card, a massive karmic completion where a new chapter of your life is truly going to begin. But, this new chapter, it is more like a state, a very interesting state of being where you feel much more self-centered, where you find it so much easier to detach from whatever is going on, either in the world, the lives of others, even your family. It will feel like you existing in your own personal bubble, like the hermit crab has its shell, but this doesn't mean solitude or anything, where you're totally cut off from other people. It will just represent like a state of being where you really don't take anything to heart. Nothing that happens will cause you to overthink, panic, and have fears and restless nights. For some reason, especially because you changed this reality, you're going to feel so very balanced and secured in your own life. And, even if that doesn't affect those around you in a positive sense, well, ignorance is bliss. But not in the sense that you're not gonna help them or be there for them or, total apathy. It's just going to mean that you will find it so much easier to just live your life and mind your own business in those moments when others need you or you're required to do something. Of course you will be immersed into it and you will be able to do it, but the moment that connection, that interaction stops, you'll be back in your bubble, in your world, in your reality, a reality which you find so easy to navigate in, something that is almost like custom tailored for you. Once, your inner forces kind of totally reject that which you're living right now, the hardships, the blockages, the scarcity, the poor material conditions, or bad health, or depression, whatever this not favorable state is. Once your inner forces, reject it like a snake shedding off its skin, the new reality will start to harden, to build up, to take ground and influence. So you will find that things will get better immediately. If that 5 of coins is money problems, either you will have a new source of income or money will come to you much more easily. That, if that is the case, is gonna just solve itself. Or if you have been experiencing poor health, basically your being will just start to regenerate. You will feel better and better and better each and every day, and that will give you a lot of physical energy to do all those things that you couldn't do in this moment. But of course, the resolution is the Devil card, which naturally means manifestation. It means stability. It means owning your power, but also having very strong, especially psychological boundaries. It means simply being able to keep on rejecting, repulsing, or like a reversed magnet, that which isn't yours. May that be energy, the state of someone, the drama of someone. It means a very strong repulsion of that which might irritate you, bother you, take away your sense of security. And when having to interact with other people, may they be like friendships, may they be socially, work-wise, especially if you have your own business, well, that means a lot of strings attached. But from your part, this is where you're the devil, but in a very favorable sense, because you will make it very clear. If you want my time, if you want my energy, well, these are my limits, and this is what you have to give in return. And if this isn't okay for you, well, then it's absolutely fine. Because I don't need you, or I don't need anyone else in my life, because finally, after a long time, I'm okay. I'm okay with myself. I feel powerful. I feel found mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And this Devil card might also represent a compromise that you have to do yourself for that security, the World card, you see. Regardless if it means physical health, even if it means mental health or money, prosperity. Maybe it is a contract that you have to sign, so that means duties, but a duty that which you can totally handle, which is in your power, it is even in your comfort zone. Or it can simply mean a routine or a ritual that you must respect each and every day. For example, exercise. Maybe that will be a permanent part of your life and you have to accept that. Or if it's like something which has to do with your physical body, well, that might mean a diet, a certain specific kind of diet, or a change of lifestyle, especially what you consume, what you eat. And if this 5 of Pentacles, along with the 9 of Swords, it's more like depression and a really disempowered psychological state, well, this means 100% having boundaries and no longer accepting anyone or any source of information, not even social media, nothing in your life, which might affect your self-worth or might basically destabilize your mental well-being. It is cutting off mental addictions, communication, information, fantasy, fiction, or the opinions of other people, or allowing other people to influence you in any way, shape, or form. But that can also mean, like techniques, coping skills, maybe something, a counselor, a psychologist, or I don't know, maybe a holistic healer, life coach or, a spiritualist, a mystic might suggest for you to be able to always be in a really good mental shape. So, it requires a kind of sacrifice and compromise from your behalf, but that is healthy, that is really, really good, that serves your greatest good. And if it's a money problem, as I said, it can be a contract, it can be a job offer, or it can be like a highly influential person, your next boss, so to speak, which does require commitment, but that person will be a really good role model for you. Maybe they will have a shadow side to them, one which is about survival, but whatever you have to learn from them, you really, really, really need that. So don't take it as something negative, don't take it as manipulation. For example, if it's like sales or how to survive and manage on social media, because everything of that nature has a little bit of illusion and manipulation to it. But this person will really teach you how to cope, how to manage, how to be successful, how to protect yourself, how to basically make really fair deals which don't disadvantage you. And this person might also help you out personally quite a lot, because they might see your potential in a way you cannot see it. And they might tell you the truth that, listen, you are so very good, powerful, whatever, if it's professionally or personally, or it doesn't really matter. But don't be so idealistic, because it is your ideals that get you in trouble. So you have a lot to learn from this person. And if it's just a simple contract, well, that contract will really, really advantage you. And it will be the case where what you sacrifice, your time and energy, will be rewarding to you. And at the same time, it will detach you from whatever might cause dramas, insecurities, and fears in your life right now. So you won't have the time to focus on all those things which are harmful to you. So this is what the cards show for you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this useful. And until next time, bye for now. Hi everyone who has chosen the second pile. Your cards are the 9 of Wands reversed, the 3 of Wands reversed, the 4 of Cups reversed, and the Lovers as the resolution. Now, this energy of these Wands cards reversed, well, they speak a little bit about your recent past and also your present. This is the energy of inner fire, inner creativity, determination, ambition. And this 9 of Wands is reversed, which is good and bad at the same time. But first of all, it speaks about the recent past, perhaps the past 9 months or the very beginning of 2021, where you kind of had a moment of epiphany, you had a moment of inner truth, so to speak. And regardless if this represents something which has to do with your livelihood or your job, your career, maybe you made the decision to go solo, freelance, or use a skill, a talent, a knowledge, something that you're really, really good at and you actually excel at that something, to use it to earn a living, but in a way that you have much more time for yourself and you can invest all your passion and creativity into what you truly love doing. So first of all, this 9 of Wands reversed speaks about a really powerful new beginning that, as I said, either it took place in the past 9 months or at the very beginning of 2021. But it wasn't like a simple new beginning. You had to end something in order to give way to this. And at that time, you were so very passionate. You had a lot of energy, imagination. You really, really saw the future potential that lies in you and in your activity. You might have had also a lot of encouragement from your loved ones or from people or from other people in that domain profession, especially if you're an artist, especially if this is some kind of project work, or if it's like a new job or a new career that you started. So it had an amazing start, and it really, really reflected your true value, your worth, not just as a professional, but, as a talent. And needless to say that you placed a lot of energy, effort, time, focus, ambition, determination into whatever that is, art, project, personal goal perhaps. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything with money or livelihood. It can just represent something that you truly wanted to do for yourself. For others, it can even be a relationship, like finding love. And if this is the case, well, that means a lot of investment of that energy and time and everything into yourself. For example, like getting into shape, healing certain blockages, freeing your soul from the past, making yourself ready and available on a soul and psychological level. Self-love, of course, self-care, because everything starts with that. But I do feel that for the most majority of you, it is something that has to do with passion, with your hobby, something that you can do, skill, talent, you're really good at that. And at the same time, it might not be something strictly material. It can also be something spiritual, like to learn something, practice something, complete something spiritual for yourself. But anyway, getting back to the present, because you invested so much of your essence basically into it, you might have become more and more tired, exhausted, fatigued as you went along. And you had this strong energy of determination. So whenever you had moments of weakness, moments of fatigue, when you ran out of inspiration, you didn't really stop. You dug even deeper, and you basically, take this symbolically, accessed energy which you didn't even think you had. You might have simply borrowed energy and creational force from the universe, and you still kept on going. And the problem is that I don't see that basically your future is blocked. I don't see that you are stopped in your tracks. I don't really see that basically reality is working against you, but I do see a blockage where in the present moment either you might be feeling a little bit lost and unsure of yourself. For example, did I invest way too much energy into this? Way too much time? Way too much life? To be honest, because time is basically life. Or you might ask yourself, is this truly what I wish for myself? Or it doesn't matter how talented and good I am I able to continuously provide this input of energy into whatever I'm doing? And for others, 3 of Wands reversed. Are there true opportunities out there for me? Because it's one thing to see the future optimistically and, to have the beginner's luck or the beginner's support. Opportunities to pop up in your life, to start it and to build on something. But now you need much, much bigger things. You need to be stable for your job or passion or whatever this is to become like real in a big sense. And may that be like your professional reputation growing in a way that it's really useful and it reflects the results of your work basically. May it be income as in material stability, or may it be the appreciation of others. Like, for example, if it's a project or it's something artistic, the influx of clients. So right now, not only are you burned out, and this burnout, well, this is kind of basically logical. You invested so much into it. Your batteries are not infinite. You need not just a time to regenerate, but also a source of regeneration, as in soul food, mental food, inspiration, rest, relaxation, or pleasure of the senses. So you've been totally cut off from that. And the nature of this passion or project or freelance or whatever this is, well, it might not be permissive of you taking time off more than, let's say, a week or a couple of days. It does require you to continuously provide that energy, creativity, effort, whatever that is, because you have to keep it alive. So right now, it's not really looking good, but as I say, not in physical reality. It's not that there is like a true blockage on the outside, because you are still going strong on your path, you're still doing it. So it is not only still in existence, but it is functioning, it is working, just that it might no longer be satisfactory, or you might feel that, the inner energy, the inner sun, the creativity, well, it ran out. It is almost like when there is total drought, there is nothing you can do except the Four of Cups reversed. Hope for rain. Hope for something to pop up in your life. Hope for an opportunity, or maybe someone to help you, or for you to just snap out of it, for your inner flames to ignite. But chances are, if you look at this realistically, you're tired, exhausted, and I do believe that the right terminology for this is you're burnt out in a real psychological sense. So it doesn't matter how bright your future looks like. It doesn't matter how many future opportunities are there. And those opportunities are rational, logical. They will show up in your life without a shadow of doubt, because you're that good. But that's not really the problem. The problem is the battery, the inner strength, the power. And also this Four of Cups reversed. This is kind of fear energy, but not the kind of fear energy which is irrational. You just know, because you're a rational human being and you have a lot of life experience, if this burnout, if this blockage, inner blockage of course, persists, well, that will ultimately terminate the project or whatever you started, and you really, really don't want that, and that is what you fear. So you're really contemplating what to do. How can you help yourself? What can you do to ignite your inner fire? What can you do basically to keep on providing the energy and the input to your work, to keep it alive and steady and growing, but at the same time, somehow simultaneously nurture yourself? And as I say, this is perfectly valid, even if it's not a job or lucrative purpose, even if it's just a goal that you want to accomplish, even if it's something purely spiritual, or even if you're just looking for love, a stable partnership, it's still valid. Hope has limits in the sense that it can simply run dry just like a well. But look at the resolution, it is the Lover's card. So something is definitely entering your life in the future to change your situation, and this can be different things for different people. For some, especially for those who it's something professional, lucrative, project, business, etc. It might be a partnership, a contract, someone or maybe a group of people doing something similar or looking for exactly for what you can produce, provide. That opportunity, that contract might just pop up in your life, and that is why the Three of Wands is reversed, as in you don't see the ideal opportunities in your life right now, because anything that you could think of would be way too unideal and small compared to what's coming. So that new offer of partnership or collaboration or maybe recruitment is truly not just a saving grace, but it will give you the time, It will give you the comfort, the ease to basically have your cake and also eat it. Because it will take off certain burdens, certain responsibilities that right now you have to do for yourself. It will just, let's say, delegate it, divert it to that partner or the group or whatever. So you will just provide that which you're really, really good at. And when you can act in a very singular way, well, that will not just heal your burnout, but give you the time and everything that you need to keep pumping like soul energy, inner fire, inspiration into yourself. Now for others, this Lover's card, especially if you're single, regardless if you're looking for love or not, because there might be some people who are really focused on this goal, career, etc. and are not really looking for anyone. This might be a lover, someone unexpected popping up in your life, and that love energy and that basically union, the happiness, the joy, and every other basically aspect of what a relationship involves. You know, when you have someone in your life, they can also be like a muse, a best friend, someone who provides you with physical pleasure, and not just, you know, that kind of pleasure, like cooks or takes you out or laughs with you, shares beautiful moments with you. So that in itself will just ignite your soul, and all the inspiration and motivation that you are lacking right now will be there in great abundance. And chances are that this person will admire your passion, what you're doing, so it will support it either psychologically, spiritually, morally, or financially. So it is something absolutely wonderful. And for those of you who are actually specifically looking for love, well, this is where you're burned out, you're out of hope, you don't even dare to dream about having anyone in your life anymore. And exactly at that moment when that Four of Cups is reversed, that person pops up and makes you the offer. Here I am. And if you are looking for love and this is your situation, well, it's much better than you could even possibly imagine. Because, you know, this Four of Cups, you are not, at least right now, you're not easy to get. So you'll say no, you'll try to reject it because, you know, you lost that idealism and hope. And this person will say, no, I'm fighting for you. I want you. I believe in this. I feel that you are exactly who I need for my happiness. So it will be like a very persistent kind of person. And of course, your resilience will be defeated, but that will make this love connection that much more magical, that much more dynamic, that much more embodying the one's energy. So a symbolic fight. Like, let me just give you a really cute example. If you ever seen peacocks trying to attract a mate, well, the male usually puts on a huge show. Like, it's really, really fascinating to watch. It is like a really unique experience. And that might be similar what to this new person, this partner will do. As in, they will really do everything that they could possibly imagine to keep your attention, to prove themselves, to try and attract you. And you will find that not just amusing, but that will be truly the key to your heart. Well, this concludes your reading. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope that you enjoyed it and you found this useful. Until next time, bye for now. Hello everyone who has chosen the third pile. Your cards are the Ten of Swords, the Hangman reversed, the Six of Wands, and the resolution is Death reversed. Now I must say this is a really, really, let's say, intense and tough energy that I'm picking up here. Well, this Ten of Swords is the closing of a cycle, closing of something that was an active and valid part of your life. But this closing might also have to do with surrender, or you kind of reached the end of your limits. But this is a little bit bittersweet, to be honest, because this Ten of Swords goes back to the past. Maybe 10 months ago, or maybe at the very beginning of 2020. That was when this Ten of Swords situation, when it wasn't the Ten of Swords, it was actually the Ace of Swords. So it might have been an idea, a project. It can also have so much to do, not just with your career, but an inner epiphany, an idea, an awakening of yours, where you truly set out to change your life. You invested a lot of inner work into yourself, into your healing, into basically becoming your most authentic self. And this is the energetic imprint, but that imprint had to take, a very special shape and form in physical reality, in your real life. So for some people, this might have been starting, like a new journey. Maybe if it's just this self-discovery, studies, developing their skills and talents, and trying to do something with it. It can also be like a journey of self-knowledge, tapping into your uniqueness, distinctiveness, removing blockages, removing traumas. And when I say removing blockages and traumas, well, this is a very heavy energy, because prior to that, you might have had a dark night of the soul, so maybe 2018, 2019, or even prior to that, where your traumas and everything that basically was part of your life was really highlighted, almost crystallized, and you just knew that you had to somehow purify it, purge it out of your soul. This might have been childhood traumas. This might have been low self-worth. This might have been a partner, like a marriage, which was a total disaster. And you might have blamed yourself for that. It just took away your authenticity, your truth. Whatever this was, it suffocated you. It might have even been a job, a career, but a job and career where either you had studies, so you sacrificed for it, or you had very strong ideals. For example, by doing this, you will truly contribute to the well-being of the world, community, society, etc. So you might have taken a massive leap of faith and abandoned the past, as in either a job, a marriage, a relationship, a physical location, a place you might have relocated or moved. Either way, you just terminated instantly, abruptly, something that it wasn't serving you any longer. And after a period of dark night of the soul, of course, then regeneration, healing, finding out who you are, and basically embodying your inner truth stronger than ever before, you had to act on that, work on that. So you started something new, maybe a lifestyle, a project, a new relationship, a new career. Maybe you discovered your artistic talents, or that you were a creative writer, or anything which has to do with you using your intellect to do something good for yourself and others as well. And at the same time, you received a lot of guidance, support, not just from maybe others, but also from the divine, from the universe, signs everywhere. It was almost like your road to whatever that was paved out so crystal clearly that everything fell into its place as a puzzle. And even though you worked with it, you lived it, you immersed into it, it was wonderful, magical, it healed you, it was exactly what you needed at that time. Yet, right now, you might find yourself that the road, the final destination, the journey on which you set out back there, and then when you restarted your life, so to speak, you might see a dead end. And this was really, really not what you expected. So right now you might be in a total shock. You might simply not believe that this is what happened. And, you might even interpret it as a divine joke or you might be questioning yourself. Was I actually stupid and naive? Was all of that in my head? Was I living a lie, a fantasy? Was I really misaligned instead of, being aligned? Was that truly the divine, or was it basically the devil guiding me, or what was going on? Because I would really, really not expect to be led to a dead end when the road was paved with, jewels. It was like the yellow brick road. You were sure that it would lead to somewhere safe, and you didn't even have expectations attached. So you were really, really your most authentic, your most powerful, your most genuine and basically unconditional self. You were basically full of understanding, wisdom. You had this very strong, unbreakable divine connection. And you had very, very strong faith. And right now you feel like, not that you're reaching the light at the end of the tunnel, but you're reaching like a massive end to everything. Nothing makes sense. You cannot see where this is leading you. Maybe the divine signs, the universe, are totally silent. And everything might, including your inner forces, are guiding you to surrender, to accept this ending, to basically somehow try and process and also work with it, that journey has come to an end, and what comes next is invisible. It is the great unknown. And it's not that you don't trust this, but it kind of hurts, it kind of breaks your heart that what was the meaning of all of this? Because you were so strong on your journey, you were so sure of yourself, you were more encouraged than any other time in your life, and more importantly, this time you truly 1,000,000% you lived your truth. You were who you were. And you find it so hard to believe that why is the world or reality rejecting who you truly are? Like, you really cannot fault yourself. You cannot basically say that, look, I messed up, I made the wrong choice, it was a mistake. Because as I said, it was like a paved road. Everything like a puzzle fit together perfectly. Many times you didn't even have to make a choice because it was so obvious. It was screaming at you that this is what you need to do. And as I say, for some of you, this might take physical forms like a job, a career, a new relationship, a connection to a group of people, a place that you traveled to where you wanted to begin new. So it's not just a mental or spiritual or psychological energy. It also has something physical or palpable attached to it. So that's why surrendering may be a very big loss to you right now. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, it would just simply shatter your heart. And this hangman reversed. Well, the hangman in, normal position, when the hangman is truly hanged as in upside down, that's not even as bad. Because you might be lonely, you might be in your bubble, in your shell, you might be isolated, but you're in your world, you're in your comfort, your being, your soul, your heart, your higher self is there with you. So basically you're still more than okay. Yes, you're philosophizing, figuring stuff out. You are taking a very detached, objective look on the world, life and everything. But you're still at least spiritually safe, so that is a massive plus. But when the hangman is reversed, that is rebellion, that is breaking out of the shell, that is, shattering your own protection and your defenses. It is almost like, let's say, being born prematurely, where, yes, that is the end goal, but everything has a place and a time. And by place and time, I mean, it kind of depends on the material circumstances as well. Because if whatever you started, when you reboot your life, well, that in the present moment is destabilizing, like falling to pieces very, very quickly. So you're panicked, you're feared, you kind of know, and this might be the only thing that you know for certain, that, like it or not, you're stepping into the great unknown, that which cannot be sensed, perceived, anticipated, figured out by you. Even if you are a spiritual person, even if you are an oracle, even if you are the best of the best, this is totally invisible. You don't know what's coming. And another thing that you know, that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter what this unknown means, or it doesn't matter even if your life shatters into a trillion pieces again without the possibility to pick it up again, even if your heart breaks, even if your soul just gets lost, even if you get into the even more vengeful dark night of the soul than you were before, you're not going back to your old life, who you used to be, to that partner, to whatever the old life means. You're definitely 1,000,000% not going back no matter what. But of course, this is just what you might be experiencing right now. What's coming is the Six of Wands. And what this is telling us is this act of shattering your shell, this act of rebellion, even if it has a lot to do with fear energy, of feeling totally lost, revolted against that you have been misguided or whatever, that is almost like a necessary inner violent, if this makes sense, force to break out. When a bird is in the egg and it's ready to hatch, well, it has to crack the egg from the inside with its beak, and that is like a violent gesture, if you know what I mean. It's instinctual, it is guided by the life force. It has to do it in order to get out, to see the light of day, to take its first breath. So basically, that's why the Ten of Swords is there. Yes, that reality, whatever you initiated, you worked on, is shattering. It is coming to a close, but it's not what you think. The great unknown is much better than that. That was imperatively necessary in your life, not for other people, not for necessarily the universe itself, but for you to see how truly honest, dignified, strong, good, and quite honestly, so much better than anyone else in your life, anyone that you possibly know, even as just an acquaintance, you are a much more superior, a much more honest, moral, truer person than simply anyone else in your life. And all the darker reflections, when people let you down, disappointed you, maybe that is why your reality is shattering, because you were let down. That had a very special meaning. Yes, you have to lose trust, but not in a bad way, but in a way where this is the only way the universe can reflect your true worth, that you are better than anyone in your life. So if you want to do something, well, you have to basically associate yourself with people who can actually get you, who are on the same level as you, even if they're on the other side of the planet. Well, that is how it is. That doesn't depend on you, that doesn't depend on fate, that doesn't depend on the universe. So this was the essence, the core of why that path was paved out for you, why it was like 100% certain guidance and everything went like clockwork, because it was the mirror of who you are, of what you can accomplish. Everything that happened to you on that journey, both good and bad, was like either a confirmation or a shattering of one of your beliefs. For example, I'm not capable of doing this, surviving this, managing under certain conditions. Well, your journey proved you wrong. You are more than capable of. But another example, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not sophisticated enough, I'm not learned enough, advanced enough. All of those were proven wrong as well, because you truly did something amazing in your journey. And that is why right now it's like a very bitter end. That is why right now it's like a soul-shattering surrender, because you did so great. You were like in the highest moments of your existence. And why is that not leading you to your promised place of glory? Well, actually it is. Because you did so well that basically the universe kind of had to change the setup again, because the reward that was planned out for you, basically where your guidance would have taken you, was already way too small for the accomplishments and the true soul level work that you have completed in your journey. So right now something even better is planned for you. Something where it is just you, your moment of glory, the Six of Wands victory. No, Six of Wands when the Christ and Messiah was celebrated as in the ultimate triumph, the ultimate glory. So the great unknown, that mysterious, unseeable, unknowable future which might frighten you right now, well, it really shouldn't, because the essence here is that you are gonna live your life and just live your life as you wanted. You will have basically the opportunity to just be happy every single moment of your life, because that was one of the biggest elements of your inner truth, that you have the power to be happy because you simply are that elevated, are that strong, are that loving and lovable from the inside. So not only will you have this moment of glory, which the outplay of this is mysterious, because as I said, the universe changed its plans to make it even bigger for you than it was promised, so to speak. And the Death card is the resolution. The Death card, more specifically in reverse. So it's not just a change, the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one, in the sense that you will not start with zero. It is more like everything that you always wished for yourself, regardless if that is material or psychological, emotional, spiritual, magical, metaphysical, everything that you went without and that left a massive scar on your heart is gonna be given to you on a silver tray, because that is how much you excelled on your journey. So basically this doom and gloom that you might be sensing right now, and this surrender and this full stop, is not bad at all. It is not what you think, not what you expect. It is actually the universe making that outcome, the promised future, even better, even more reflective of just how well you did. And ultimately, the essence here is your life is to be lived and experienced. Your life force, even though what I'm gonna say now is a little maybe against your principles, the life force that you basically worked with, that you nurtured, that you took care of in every single sense. And this was the essence of that dark night of the soul, so that you could wake up to the fact that you need to take care of yourself and your soul and your earthly life and your earthly body, etc. So that what you did, the way you elevated your life force, well, it's superior than most other life forces on the planet. And that which is superior by frequency, by vibration, by the essence, the purity, well, that has to be reflected even in physical reality. So this is the reason why there is a big change of plans. In the divine sphere, it's not like you did something wrong. It's that you did something so very right. And I'm not sure, you have to know something that you made even yourself infinitely proud of you, of who you are. Something that you have done in the last 10 months. So it was like either a gesture of compassion or something spiritual. I'm not sure. But you did something so very right that basically it impressed the divine and it had to change its plans. And you know so well that its plans were so very rewarding for you before, as I said, the yellow brick road. Then imagine where this is guiding you now. So if this is a surrender, it is a surrender because you outdid yourself. You did something which not only surpassed your limits, but it impressed the divine itself. So now you're being led to something unimaginably triumphant for you. So this concludes your reading. I do hope that you enjoyed it and you found it useful. Until next time, bye for now. Well, thank you everyone to listening to today's Pick a Card. I really hope that you found a little bit of inspiration and that it offered you clarity and uplifted your mood. If you'd like to support my channel, you can donate on the PayPal link in the description below. Thank you everyone for all your kindness, your support and your beautiful comments. I really appreciate it. So until the next Pick a Card, bye for now.